My dear students, welcome to the third semester Bcom and Bbm of Davangere University. This university has prescribed the third semester English language syllabus for third semester Bcom and Bbm. This syllabus has three parts. The syllabus is divided into three sections. Section A, Section B, and Section C. Section A is of poetry, in which we have 5 poems, and Section B we have 5 prose units, and among the 5 prose units, the destiny of colored Americans, commencement of address, the discounters of money, a passion in the desert, the open window. So these are the 5 units in prose section. The first 2 are the essays, and the last 3 are the short stories. So section A is of poetry, section B is of prose, and section C is of business communication. In business communication, we do have 3 main questions. One is of different business communicative letters. There shall be 8 letters. You will have to answer 3 out of them. And the 6th question will be, after prose unit in the section C, main question number begins with 5, and in the main question number 5 you will have to study 8 types of letters, business letters, and the 6th question is of job application with biodata or curricula vitae, and the 7th question is of few of the computer and commercial terms will be given, and we will have to study them with meanings, and also you have to use them in your own sentences. So this is the structure of the syllabus prescribed for third semester Bcom and Bbm by Davangere University. Let me tell you why this knowing of the structure of the syllabus and the pattern of the question paper is so important for any student, whether you are going to face a competitive examination or an academic examination. You will have to be very careful, you will have to be aware of the structure of the syllabus and the question paper pattern. Otherwise, if you study a particular topic without knowing the syllabus and the question paper pattern, it would be like traveling in a thick forest where there is no way, where there is no path to reach a particular destiny. And that's why while you begin to study, you should be very perfect, you should be very much alert about the structure of the syllabus, the limitation of the syllabus, the outline of the syllabus, so that within that outline, within that structure, you can perform well, you can work hard, you can make yourself so confident about facing any question on any part of the syllabus. And on the other hand, if you know the pattern of the question paper, you will realize, or you will know what kind of questions will be asked in the examination, and to what kind of questions, how you have to answer, that will be known to you. And accordingly you can study the syllabus, and that study will become systematic. So habitual reading is different, and a student to study a particular topic is different. Habitual reading is just for the sake of reading, just for the sake of enjoying literature or a piece of literature. But while a student studies a piece of literature, or student studies a poem or a story or an essay or an article, and that has to be very carefully, meticulously studied with an intention of extracting all the minute details or observations that are made by the writer, that are made by the author, which will be the material for your answers in the examination. That's why the pattern of the question paper and the structure of the syllabus is very, very important, so that you can go on the track. Knowing the structure of the syllabus, you can go on the track while you perform throughout the semester duration till the examination comes. And as well, if you take up a poem to be studied, if you take up a short story to be studied, if you take up, for that matter, any topic of the syllabus to be studied, you will have to be careful, you will have to be aware what different types of questions you are supposed to answer in the examination. For example, according to the syllabus, we do have three parts, I said. One is section A, that is of poetry. There are 5 poems. Let us know something about the pattern of the question paper. For Bcom and Bbm third semester, the pattern of the question paper has 2 types of questions. So the 2 types of questions are, one is the annotations. Annotations means in the examination they will give you 3 annotations. Some of the lines will be extracted from a poem, from different poems, and those lines will be put in the question paper. You will have to choose 2 of them to answer for 4 marks. And those annotations, you will have to write from which poem these lines are taken, and who is the poet of that poem, and what the meaning these 1 or 2 lines express, and how that meaning is connected with the total theme of the poem. These are the things you have to cover in an annotation. And before that, very important is you have to identify the lines of the poem, as to mention from which poem these lines are extracted or taken. So what you have to do, while you study a poem, you have to read the text repeatedly for many times, so that those lines will be familiar with you, and that makes you able to identify the lines immediately when you see the lines in the question paper. And that's why in advance you should know that the question paper pattern has the questions like annotate any 2 of the following. If you know this pattern, you will concentrate upon the lines by reading the question paper. You will concentrate by reading the poems repeatedly. You will concentrate upon the question to annotate. So you try to familiarize the lines by reading them repeatedly with comprehension, with meaning. So this is one thing. Okay, in section poetry, you will have to go for another type of the question, that is of the essay type answer. You will have to write 2 essay type answers. Such questions will be asked in the examination. So to answer in essay type, you have to understand the whole poem, and also you have to go through the various issues discussed in the poem, various ideas that are expressed by the poet, and the various possible ways of different interpretation of the poem, and what different poetic elements are there in a poem, images and the other things you have to know. Then only you can critically appreciate that poem in 2 pages or more, because the essay type answer expects you to write pages together, and with that purpose also you have to read a poem, you have to study a poem. So this is how one has to study a poem, with the intention of annotating the lines as well, answering the questions that expect the essay type answers. Okay, so this is what we have to concentrate upon as far poetry is concerned. As I said, there are 5 poems. One is Mother to Son, an Afro-American writer, Langston Hughes' poem. And the second one is the Second Coming, which is the most popular poem of W.B. Yeats. And the third one is Before the Altar. This is by Amy Lowell. And the fourth poem is Passion by Charlotte Bronte. And the fifth one is a very popular poem, The Road Not Taken, by American, the poet of nature, American poet of nature, like William Wordsworth in English, that is Robert Frost. So these are the 5 poems you have to study in poetry section. I think you could understand the structure of the syllabus in 3 parts, section A, B and C. In section A, there are 5 poems. And now we shall move on to section B. See, the section B consists of 5 prose units. And in this section, as I told you, the first 2 are the essays. The first one is an essay. The second one is a speech delivered by Steve Jobs in an address in an inaugural program in college. And the third one, The Discounters of Money, Passion in the Desert, The Open Window. These 3 are the short stories. So here also you will have to answer 2 types of questions. One, you have to answer a short note, and another you have to answer an essay type answer. Means a short note will be asked upon a subtopic that is discussed in a prose unit. Topic means if an essay is written on a particular topic, in the flow of the essay, some of the dimensions of that main topic will be discussed by taking subtopics. So you will have to concentrate upon those subtopics, and on those subtopics you will have to extract some points of views, and those points of views can be explained in more than 1 page or maximum 1 page. That will be sufficient for short notes. If you go for 1.5 page, that's also not wrong. The long answer consists of the whole essays, summary, whole essays, the substance that has to be covered according to the question asked in the examination. Then that has to be written at least in 2 pages. They will say 300 words or 2 pages, and it carries 8 marks or 10 marks sometimes. And that's why these are the 2 important intentions with which you have to study a prose unit. Either it is an essay or it is a short story. Now let's move on to the section 3 or section C. Section C is called business communication skills. So business communication has some business letters, and those business letters, here are some business letters I would like to mention you. One is enquiry, a letter of enquiry. Another is quotation. A letter of enquiry is a businessman inquires or makes some enquiry with some other business firm or with some other company as a customer. That inquiry may be about the prices or make or the varieties or whatever he wants. He can make an inquiry through a letter. And quotation, it's a very common word for everybody. Quotation, if somebody wants to purchase something, first he gets a quotation from the seller. So that quotation, how to prepare that quotation. And the third one is order, means the purchase order. Usually a customer places a purchase order to a seller. It may be the retailer placing a purchase order to the wholesaler, or one company may place an order to another company, or an individual customer or public customer can place a purchase order to a seller, to a shop, or to a wholesaler or a retailer. This is another letter, business letter. Then a letter of complaint means after the supply of goods, supply of commodities, there may be some damages, and that has to be brought to the notice of the supplier. So that is what we say complaint letter. We have to write a letter of complaint to the supplier, noting that some of the damages have happened in the supply. So that has to be recovered from the supplier. No, for that the letter of complaint will be written by a businessman to another businessman. And credit enquiry letter or status enquiry letter, it can also be called. It's a very common thing that anybody who wants to continue his business with some other, he wants to know something about him, and for that he will make a credit enquiry with either with the bank or with another firm or another company. So that's called credit enquiry letter. And debt collection, letter of debt collection means if some businessman wants to run a business, he has to give the goods, he has to sell the goods on credit. So he will sell the goods, and later on he will collect the debt from the customers, and he writes the letters to collect the debts, and that is called debt collection letter. And bank correspondence, a businessman is to necessarily correspond with the bank or bank manager. It may be of opening an account, or it may be of making an inquiry about the availability of the loan facility. It may be of the status inquiry of his account, and for all these purposes he has to write the letters to the bank. And circulars. See, some of the times the businessman wants to inform something to all his customers at large. At a time, he has to inform all his customers, thousands of customers, about the shift of his shop from one street to another. It may be about the invitation, it may be for his some of the program he wants to conduct or celebration he wants to conduct. So he has to inform all his customers who are in thousands. He has to prepare, or he has to write a circular in a brief way, so that can be conveyed to the thousands of customers. So these are the business letters you will have to study and write in the examination. Out of these, you will have to choose 6 and write in the examination. And the next one is job application with biodata or curricula vitae. So how to prepare that job application, what are the norms you will have to study. And the last one is computer terms and commercial terms. There shall be a list of computer terms and commercial terms given in the workbook that is prescribed by Davangere University. If you study those words in the list, you can easily get good number of marks in the examination. So here you will have to write the meaning of the words, and you will have to use those words, terms, computer terms or commercial terms, in your own sentences, so as to give the meaning to that, to express the meaning of those words, commercial terms and computer terms. So this is the structure of the syllabus and the pattern of the question paper. As far this syllabus is concerned, I think it is the most easiest type of a syllabus, because only 5 poems you will have to study, only 5 prose units you will have to study, and there are 8 to 10 business letters and 1 job application and few number of computer terms and commercial terms. And this much is the syllabus prescribed for you for 3rd semester Bcom and BBM. You can easily go through all these topics. At the same time, you will have the choice in the question paper pattern, and that also makes you so easy to get prepared for the examination. I think you could understand what is the syllabus and what is the question paper pattern. And another important thing I have to tell you, how the allotment of marks is made. That's also very important thing here, because according to the marks allotted, you will have to prefer that particular part of the syllabus. For example, the textbook, that is literary perceptions, has the syllabus of both the semesters, 3rd and 4th. For the 3rd semester, the textbook contains section A poetry and section B prose. 5 poems and 5 prose units. For 5 poems, how many marks are allotted? Only 20 marks are allotted. And for 5 prose units, how many marks are allotted? Only 20 marks are allotted. And for section C, that is business communication, 40 marks are allotted. So section C is equal to section A and B as far marks are concerned, and that's why I told you it's very easy to score good number of marks by concentrating upon the letters of business communication and job application and computer terms and commercial terms. And this is for 80 marks, for which the examination will be conducted by the University of Davangere. You will have to write the examination for 80 marks. What about other 20 marks? Other 20 marks is of internal assessment. That internal assessment will be for 20 marks, and that is also that also has its own system. So what we have to do there for internal assessment is we will conduct 2 tests. Internal assessment tests will conduct. Each test will be conducted for 20 marks. But that 20 marks test will be reduced to average of 5 marks. Means for internal assessment test we consider 5 marks, average 5 marks. Your 20 performance for your 20 marks, what you get, that will be converted to average of 5 marks. And then the other 15 marks will be 5 marks for assignment. Some topics will be given to you in the class, and you will have to prepare an assignment, and that should be submitted to the department. And then you will have to present a seminar in the class. For that you will get 5 marks. And attendance, you will have to attend compulsorily 75% of attendance, for which there shall be no marks. If you attend 80% of attendance, you will get 1 mark. For 85% of attendance, you will get 2 marks. For 90% of attendance, you will get 3 marks. For 95% of attendance, you will get 4 marks. For 100% of attendance, you will get 5 marks. So in this way, the internal assessment will be made. So both of them together will be for 100 marks. Then what is the passing barrage? What is the passing barrier in university examination that will be conducted for 80 marks and in internal assessment? You keep it into your mind that in university examination you should score at least 28 out of 80. That is the minimum passing marks. But in internal assessment, there is no passing barrier, means there is no pass and fail. Whether you score 0 or 20 out of 20, it doesn't matter. If you score 40 out of 80, you will pass this paper. But if you score less than 28 out of 80 in the university examination, though you score 20 out of 20 in internal assessment, if both of them together crosses more than 40, still you will fail in the paper. It's because there you will have to score minimum 28 marks, and if you score there only 28 marks, you will have to score at least 12 out of 20, then only your paper will be passed with 40 and plus. So this is the structure of the syllabus, and this is the pattern of the question paper, and this is the internal assessment, and this is the marks matrix. So I think you could understand what I presented to you as for these three important components are concerned. ನನಗನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಬಹುಶಃ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಸಿನ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರು, ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟು, ಇವು ಮೂರರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಭಾಗ, ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎ, ಬಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಿ ಅಂತ. ಈ ಎ ಬಿ ಸಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೊಯಿಟ್ರಿ ಇದೆ. ಪೊಯಿಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಪೊಯಮ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಈ 5 ಪೊಯಮ್ಸಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಎಂತೆಂಥ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಒಂದು ಪೊಯಮನ್ನು ನೀವು ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು, ಆ ಪೊಯಮಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ಅನೋಟೇಷನನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬರೆಯೋದು. ಅನೋಟೇಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂದರ್ಭದೊಡನೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟೀಕರಣ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಅನೋಟೇಷನ್ನು. ಅದನ್ನು ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಹಂಗಾರೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪೊಯಮನ್ನು ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪೊಯಮ್ಮಿನ ಸಾಲುಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ಚಿರಪರಿಚಿತವಾಗುವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ಲಿ ವಿತ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಿಹೆನ್ಷನ್ನು ನೀವು ಆ ಪೊಯಮ್ಮಿನ ಸಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಓದ್ತಾ 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 ಇದ್ದರೆ ಆ ಸಾಲುಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಇಂಟಿಮೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ, ತುಂಬ ಫೆಮಿಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಆಗ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಪೊಯಮ್ನಾಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪೊಯಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಸಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ನೀವು ಆ ಸಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ, ಓ ಇದು ಇಂಥ ಪೊಯಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಓ ಈ ಪೊಯಮನ್ನು ಇವರು ಇಂಥ ಪೊಯಿಟ್ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆನಪಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಅನೋಟೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಇನ್ನು ಈ ಪೊಯಮನ್ನು ಓದುವಾಗ ನೀವು ಇಡೀ ಪೊಯಮನ್ನು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಪೊಯಮನ್ನು ಓದಬೇಕು. ಅವಾಗ ನೀವು ಆ ಪೊಯಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನನ್ನು ನೀವು ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು, ಸಮರಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೊಯಮು, ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೊಯಮು, ಥೀಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೊಯಮು, ದೆನ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ಒಂದು ಪೊಯಮನ್ನು ಒಂದೇ ಅರ್ಥ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದೋ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಪೊಯಮು ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಮೆನಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ದೆರ್ ಆರ್ ರೀಡರ್ಸ್ ಪೊಯಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಮ್ಯಾನೇಟ್. ಒಂದು ಪೊಯಮ್ಮು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಓದೋಗಿರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಪೊಯಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪೊಯೆಟಿಕ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳೇನೇನಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಏನು ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ, ಏನು ಸಿಂಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಏನು ಅಲೆಗೋರಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಪೊಯೆಟಿಕ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಪೊಯಮ್, ಜಾನರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೊಯಮ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿ it would be the material in total that helps you to analyze the poem into 1.5 a page or 2 pages or 3 pages. ಈ ಒಂದು ಡೀಟೇಲನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಓದಿದ್ದೆ ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು ಪೊಯಮನ್ನು ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಇನ್ನು ಪೊಯೆಟ್ರಿ ಪ್ರೋಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ನಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ 5 ಪ್ರೋಸ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. 5 ಪ್ರೋಸ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲ 2 ಪ್ರೋಸ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಇದಾವಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಚ್, ಅದನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಸ್ಸೆ ಥರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಚು, ಅದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಎಸ್ಸೆ ಥರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು 3ನೇದು 4ನೇದು 5ನೇದು ಅದಾವಲ್ಲ, ಅವು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋರೀಸ್, ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆಗಳು, ತುಂಬ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆದಂಥ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆಗಳು. ಸೊ ಇವನು ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು 2 ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ನೋಟನ್ನು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್, ಎಸ್ಸೆ ಟೈಪ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕಂದರೆ 2 3 ಪೇಜ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಓದಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಸ್ಸೆದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದ್ರಾಗ ಯಾವುದೋ 1-2 ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಡೀ ಎಸ್ಸೆದ ಆಶಯವನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಒಂದು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಎಸ್ಸೆ ಟೈಪ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆನ್ಸರನ್ನು ಒಂದೇ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ, ಒಂದೇ ಪ್ರೋಸ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ನ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೂ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರನ್ನು, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ನೋಟನ್ನು ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೂ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈ ಎರಡು ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಈ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮತ್ತು ಎಸ್ಸೇಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಈ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ, ಅದು ಇವೆರಡರಷ್ಟೇ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇವೆರಡರ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು 40 ಅಂಕಗಳಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಬರೀತೀರ. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ 40 ಅಂಕಗಳಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಉತ್ತರ ಬರೀತೀರ. ಆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲು ನೀವು ಒಂದು 8 ರಿಂದ 10 ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬರ್ತವೆ. ಆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೇವಲ 6 ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ, ಬೇಕಾದ 6 ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ನ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವುಗಳು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದಕ್ಕೂ 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸು, ಒಟ್ಟು 30 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರೀ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನನ್ನು ನೀವು ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ ವಿತ್ ಕರಿಕುಲಾ ವೀಟಾ, ವಿತ್ ಬಯೋಡಾಟಾ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಯೋಡಾಟಾದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನನ್ನು ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿರಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಬರೀಲೇಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಪ್ರಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ವರ್ಕ್ಬುಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 8 ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವು 5 ಟರ್ಮ್ಸನ್ನು ಮೀನಿಂಗು ಮತ್ತು ಆ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕ್ಯಾರೀಸ್ 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ prescribed by Davangere University and the pattern of the question paper. I think you could understand well, and accordingly you have to begin to study so systematically that is to prepare for the examination within these coming days. Thank you, and all.